Welcome to the Superhero Battle Room on War Hero to Superhero. If you never watched this show, we help military veterans and first responders transform their lives from the prayer room to the boardroom. If you watch our intro, it's kind of long and it's a little outdated. We need to add the prayer room to it. So if you have video skills, please go over and DM us on either our social media. We would love to get a new branded intro that's a little bit shorter because you guys tune out at 30 seconds. Come on, we can handle just a little bit longer because people are important. But if you want to help us make it shorter, go over and connect with us on the DMs. Today's episode is not about my intro. It's about Shena. She goes over and she is a veteran that is currently serving her country, and she decided to still serve her community while still serving. That's too many serves in a word. That breaks my mind. I don't even know how she does it. I can barely handle serving in one capacity. She's serving in three or multiple capacities. So we're going to bring her on stage to share the inspiring story on how she's serving her country while serving the community while still serving. So let's bring her forward. Hey, do I have you?
Hello.
Yeah, so you almost broke my mind. So we're going to go over and have you explain that a little bit. So, because this is beautiful, serving country while still serving. So what inspired you to actually join / serve the military first?
Okay, well, I decided I wanted to join the military when I was in the 6th grade. I wanted to do something bigger than myself. I wanted to protect my family, and I wanted to do something that I knew I could be proud of. I know 6th grade's a little early. I was riding the school bus. I don't know, it just an aha moment, and so I did. When I was 17, I joined.
12 years old, man. I'm barely new. Understanding anything outside of my appendages was that thing. I was not thinking introspectively and serving the country. That is really cool. It sounds like it was a calling in your life. Would
Thank
you
you.
say it's a calling in your life?
Um, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, my computer froze up or something.
Okay. I was going over and saying, is like, was that like a calling in life? Do you feel like that was a calling in your life?
Oh, I do feel like that was a calling in my life. I've found my purpose early in life, which is to serve people, to love on people. And so, yeah, I guess when I was a kid, I was mostly raised by my grandmother, but we had been in foster care and shelters for a brief stint, 3rd grade to 5th grade. And those are some those can be some cold places for children to be in, and places that kind of make you feel invisible. And so just knowing that I don't like the way that feels and I don't want other people to feel that way, that's where my purpose came um, in helping other people feel seen. Um, my grandmother and my mom and the rest of my family, I had was blessed with plenty of people helping me grow up, and the amount of love that we had and have in our family is um, is obviously the complete opposite of the feeling that I was telling you about with the shelters and stuff. So knowing how good that feels versus not having it in certain environments, um, that's where I found my calling.
So it sounds like you have a bigger purpose outside yourself. So that's why you went over and are serving right now. So how long have you been serving? And do you have any aspirations to separate or retire soon?
I have been serving for nearly 26 years. January will be my anniversary. I did spend 20 years in the Guard, and I came active in 2019, where I went to Germany, and now I'm stationed in Augusta, Georgia.
Okay. So you have 26 years of basically overall service. So in a sense, since you converted to an active Army soldier, you probably have about what, 10, 11 years total of total active federal service approximately?
So I have about in January it'll be 6 more years for my transition, just to bridge that gap for active duty. I did do a lot of active time when I was in the Guard. I had done a lot of hurricane relief and homeland security after 9/11 and deployments. And then I did like 4.5 years worked with veterans, a lot of veterans during the like making ID card off. I can't talk. Making ID cards at the ID card office on Fort McClellan. Um, and so I met a lot of, service members, obviously, but then veterans and widows, and that was an interesting time period.
Yeah, so it sounds like you were balancing a lot of roles and a lot of responsibilities. And before we get into more of that, we're going to go on a quick sponsor break so we can get into our next piece.
You have served. No matter if it was in the military or civilian service, you deserve to live good. Live good in health, live good in wealth, live good in so much more. At Live Good, the global wholesale buyer club, we empower you to take your mission to the next level. Are you ready to live good? We all struggle in life. No matter the barriers, we do not need to stay there. Each day is an opportunity to step into better health. Each day is an opportunity to step into wealth. Each day is an opportunity to step into dreams. Live Good, the Global Wholesale Buyers Club, empowers all these steps and more. Ready to be empowered? Grab the link to learn more.
All right, welcome back. Before we went to that commercial break, we were empowered to hear Shena share her story about how she came in the service mentally as a 12-year-old and has been serving over 26 years with active and guard time. And she's going to share why now she's serving beyond on what just serving our great country. So, Sheena, before we went on break, we were talking about your 26 years of service, mixture of active and guard and doing ID card holding stuff. That is stressful enough. I've been around those people. That DEER system is horrible. It should be called death because sometimes you go in there and that thing dies so often. So, when you were coming into now back into active duty and finishing that out, what made you pivot to serving? Because when you go active duty, it's such a different life. Because I went the exact opposite. I went from active to reserve to art, which we're all really tired because we're like full timers, but we're not really full timers in benefits and pay. And then you're deciding to go over and serve. And especially in the Army, you start early and you end late every single day. I went to tech school with Army people. That was exhausting. So I'm just saying, like, why do you continue to still serve when you're already serving the big country overall?
Um, I find that I am energized when I'm able to serve other people. Um, it's very rewarding to be able to help people through struggles or to just let people feel seen. So I do serve in any capacity that I'm able, and yeah, I think a lot of what I do stems from an overwhelming amount of compassion and empathy. Um, Typically, when I meet somebody, if I see that they're struggling, or if it's somebody I already know and I see that they're struggling, my heart hurts for them. And so, how can I ease that pain? And so, it's just natural for me to want to provide any assistance I can, even if it's just like a listening ear or an word of encouragement or an offer of support.
So it sounds like you don't sleep much because there's a lot of people in the Army active duty that can need your help, and then the people that you're going over and meeting. So you look better rested than me because I always look like I'm like clinically dead. So, but that's a good thing to go over and to see. So we know that tough times come. That pivots into our next question. We know that tough times come. Pressure goes over and comes. I mean, I don't even know your MOS, but all the MOSs are complicated. It's not like one that's like, "Ooh, this is a breeze," and everything else. So when that pressure and tough times come, and now you're either needing that help or you are trying to figure out how to get out of that pressure and tough times, what's that secret fuel that helps you to keep going?
Well, prayer and love, family, friends, remembering what my purpose is. Uh, one of the um, one of the things I did when I was in Kuwait for I had done Bible study every day, and so that was super. It just kept me engaged. It kept me connected to family and friends. I have this Bible that's full of notes and letters and cards from family members and friends over the years. And so I created a daily Bible study out of it, where I would, write down what they had given me and the Bible verse, and then I created a Bible study, and then I turned right around and wrote them a note back in the same book, and then ended it with a prayer on the page. But little things like that goes to sort of like my reset button, which I'll talk about later, I think.
So it sounds like you got a book on your hand that needs to be published in a sense, because you already got the Bible studies, you already got the prayers, you already got the notes of the people. Just saying, I do publish books, but I
I
love
have
when seeing,
considered that.
yeah, I mean, I always tell my veteran people, don't get intimidated by going over and publishing. It's so easy. You can even screw the writing and go over and get published. I mean, I don't technically write my books. I outline all my books, record myself audibly, transcripts and all this stuff. I just gave like the whole formula away live, but it's okay. So, but that's a beautiful thing, is that you don't have to be intimidated. And there's 86,000 marriage books out there at the time when me and my wife published, and we still out there. It's still serving people. So everybody's wisdom infused with God goes over and is for the glory and to help others. So when you're ready, go get yourself published. Don't go over and wait. So that's just my encouragement to you. So with that, our last question that we do for our interviews, and this was always sometimes stumps everybody. Let's see if you can actually hit 3. Sometimes people like, I hit them all, and I'm like, I'm not going to argue live, but I'm like, 3 superhero tactics. So you're either on an elevator with your past self, that 90 seconds, and that when we went to the military influencer conference, that elevator was way faster than 90 seconds. So you probably would have had 30 seconds. So either your younger self or someone that you see that you're mentoring, and you had to give them 3 tactics just to go from that survival mentality, just going over and clinging on to shoestrings, to go over and to thrive. What would you give that either prior self or give to that person that you're mentoring on that quick elevator ride?
Okay, the first one is the power to reframe. By that I mean, when you feel icky about a situation, or you feel great about a situation, reflecting on that situation to say, okay, I felt like it went well, but maybe the other person didn't. So just like looking into self to say, hey, was there something I said that maybe, you know, so that introspection piece, but then also like if there's something in your past that's uncomfortable, um, reframe it. Don't let it just be an icky thing that you never revisit. Maybe there's a lesson in there. Um, maybe there's something in there that empowers you now to inspire other people based off of whatever the circumstance was. And so the power to reframe and give icky things new meaning, um, can be very powerful. My second tactic would be, and this is what I teach my students, is the reset button, because you're going to go through difficult times. And I think half the battle is knowing this ahead of time. And so, what I tell my soldiers, what I tell my students, and what I tell my study hall is that if you know that you're going to go through difficult times, when those difficult times get there, finding a reset button based off of availability and resources. When you go to war, there is no days off. So how are you going to get through those difficult times? You're going to be tired and grumpy, and you're not going to know why. It's going to sneak up on you. So finding the thing that's going to get your mind off work to make you feel like you've had a break is finding your reset button. For me in Kuwait, it was a $12 hammock. I would put that hammock up on Sundays for the little half a day that I got. I'd put my headphones on and listen to music. I would do Bible study, as I referenced earlier. And, it felt like I had time off. And so Monday, I would roll around and I would be refreshed and ready to go again. So finding your reset button. And the third thing is, it's based off of an article that my founder sent me a couple years ago, and it's about 3 mice. And there were some scientists who put 3 mice in an aquarium to swim for 30 minutes, And just as they were about to drown, the scientists scooped them up and put them to the side to rest for 5 minutes. And then they put them back in to swim again. And I always ask my students, how long do you think they swam the second time? Which I get various answers. And then I'll tell them that they swam for 2 days the second time because they knew help was coming. And so suicide and turmoil, that's very near and dear to my heart. I don't want to see people suffer. I don't want to know that people are suffering. It happens. I know it does. But if I could give anybody advice for those dark times, it would be to hang in there. Help is coming.
I think that's totally key to go over and to remember that. I heard that study before about the 3 mice, but it still amazes me that they lasted 2 days. I mean, and they're mice. They're not even image bearers. They're created creatures, and we as God's creatures were image bearers to name all those creatures. And they lasted 2 days. I'm wondering how long we would last if we really truly trusted that we were going to get scooped up and saved each and every time. So that's very interesting and dynamic to go over and think about. So Sheena, I want to thank you for going over and joining this beautiful episode of War Hero to Superhero. I want to give you the floor one more time if you want to close it out on a call to action, anything that you're doing. Want to go over and give more about the types of places that you're volunteering to, because I looked at your profile. It's so much I couldn't list it all on a website. So if you want to list a couple, and then we're going to close out the credits. So thank you for joining.
Awesome. Thank you. I want to do a quick note on Montjoy app, which is a live video streaming app on Apple and Google, where you can get live video streams, location-based and on demand. For instance, if I'm a college student going to school in another state, I can request a live video stream of the dorms, interactive, so it's personalized to me, and I can pay the person to do it. The person on the other end gets to make money from it. So I think I should encourage you to go to the app stores and check out Montjoy. But what I really want to tell you about is Operation Teammate, which is a nonprofit for military children, and it provides mentorship and leadership opportunities to children of separated parents, although we do it all year long because children always need support from their communities. But we do mentorship events with professional and collegiate athletes all across the nation. And so 2 big highlights that we have are November coming up, which is Military Family Appreciation Month. And we have 2 events scheduled. One is at the University of Georgia, the other's with Georgia Southern. And so our children will get to go and interact with athletes. Then the big month that we like to push for is April, which is the month of the military child. And so we'll have various community events there as well. And all throughout the year. Now, we are open to military children and veteran children as well. So I encourage all of you, if you have children, to reach out to Operation Teammate, get signed up on our website for our next event. And yeah,